Enter madman, stage left. The audience rises and holds their breath. They let the vampires into their house, pretend they don't see when the teeth come out. Put a band-aid on their throat. No one wants to rock the boat, and no one wants to talk about it. You're not supposed to talk about it. Rises and the players come out. Webs of light spinning from their mouths. Stop looking, listen for a little while. And you will see a very high smile. Pay no attention to the men behind the curtain. Just look away when you see the blood spurting down to a steady drip. I promise to leave you a little bit. I'll be back for another drink tomorrow. I love the taste of your terror and your sorrow breathing in your blood. It's never enough. Program reality, double think duality. A boot upon the face of all mankind. Our numbers up and the dead for a time. Go along to get along. Hypnotized by the siren song. The flames are empty and the crypts are cracking open. The hordes upon you and you stand there frozen, waiting for the word. Stand in line and wait your turn. Don't follow the strings to find out who is pulling. Just drink your poison, keep on laughing and drooling, eating your own flesh. The master always knows what's best. Worldwide genocide. The overlords of hungry parasites. They point the finger and the eagles fly. Raining fire, children die. Starving plague, paralyzed. Pile of bodies rotting, covered in flies. But no one wants to talk about it. It's safer not to talk about it. I cut my strings, no more bowing to the master. I tried to run, but they only came faster. Now I stand my ground. I ain't backing down. Silver bullets in my pistol in my holster. My will is strengthened and my confidence is bolstered. Don't test my resolve. Don't test my resolve. I met you in our younger days, and Lord, I wanted.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Iron Mountain Hour. It is Thursday, April the 4th, 2024. My name is Cliff. I'm joined by Aaron via the magic of Skype, and I'm coming to you live from the Iron Mountain here in Carter County, while we're speaking near 100 miles away, or pert near it, to Aaron Armageddon. What's up, Aaron? Glad to have you with us tonight.
What's up, everybody? Glad everybody hopefully survived the storms and tornadoes, and here we are.
What's up? We got Jeff in the house. We got, I don't know, Adam, are you Jeff? Or what's up? We we got Adam and Adam
He
CF.
is. His other personality is Jeff.
All right. My name is Jeff.
Yeah.
We got Dalton in the house talking about, I said, what's up? He said the cost of living. He's right about that. No doubt
For
there.
sure.
So, hey, Dalton, are you proud of us? We got the microphones working right off the bat. No need
Finally,
to reboot
yeah.
this time. We've got a good connection this time. What's
up,
up, Joe? Glad to have y'all in the chat. Yeah, we had a good connection tonight. Last Sunday we had like drop frames galore. I'm surprised we made it through the thing live, but it ended up getting a decent upload. So you can go back and watch the video. We talked about the eclipse, a lot of things surrounding historical eclipses, including the crucifixion, decisive victories in battles, all kinds of crazy stuff. We talked about the APEP rockets that NASA is launching in the middle of this eclipse. So go back and watch that episode. That's right. Thank you, Dalton. Enjoy that pat on the back. Appreciate that.
I got my Dragon Comet headband on today. This thing's actually from Japan.
Yeah.
was like,
So we
Festive,
didn't.
being festive for the.
I think I even put the Dragon Comet in the title, but we never got around to the Dragon Comet. We mentioned it briefly, but we didn't really get into what it was.
Well, good, because I got a lot to say about it too.
Well, hell yeah. I'm glad you're here tonight.
Yeah.
So what's up? If you're following us on YouTube, be sure and go there and follow us on X. Follow us on YouTube if you're following us on X. Get us on all the different channels. We're also on Rumble. I'm trying to pull this X stream up so I can see the chat on it. There we go. Now I can't see the chat. Oh, well. So I'm trying to find a way to... I found out we can monitor the chat from X, so y'all, if you're over there on X, be sure and comment on it live. We can see it. What you about to build, Dalton? Dalton's about to build something. A boat? But yeah, we didn't get into the Dragon Comet too much, so I did want to get into that a little bit tonight. I will tell you after you've done liking and sharing, following everything, and let's form a community around here locally and nationally, because this is important issues that affect us all. We're just trying to organize on the local level. But I guarantee if you're not in the Northeast Tennessee, Southwest Virginia area, you're going to see this stuff in your area as well. So it's definitely stuff that needs to be on all of our radar. I do want to tell you I'm going to be doing a guest DJ spot on WFP or WPFR Pirate Flag Radio. That's pirateflagradio.com. You can go check that out. This is my buddy Moose, his joint venture with some other guys over there. It's pretty cool. They're playing underground music nationwide, so you can go over there, and they've featured some music that Aaron and I that we wrote together on the Corned Beef and the Pillbillies album. So I'll be guest hosting as Corned Beef Brisket on that show. That's on Thursday nights at Pirate Flag Radio.
Definitely don't want to miss that one, because Moose is awesome.
I'm sorry, that's also Sunday nights at pirateflagradio.com. So you can check that out before you watch the show. So we'll keep you updated on that, and I'll let you know exactly when that is. But it'll be cool. I'm going to pick some low key, kind of dive bar country songs, some sad drinking songs, which maybe you've never heard of, but you probably should have. Like, can you believe how many people don't know about Porter Wagner? I mean, I know he was a big deal years ago, but a lot of people, he seems to be forgotten in the whole outlaw country game, and I guess he's not really an outlaw.
Yeah,
but he's got some badass songs, so definitely going to be seeing some Porter Wagner on my show. Well, let's see here.
Maybe sprinkle a little Conway Twitty in there, some George Jones. You can't have a sad country song without some George Jones in there.
Dalton, I was right. He said he's about to build an ark. The rain hadn't stopped for a week. Yeah, we've had a lot of off and on rain here, and being a bug man, I need good weather to keep the business going. So
lots of granule.
That's right. Luckily, I worked in a crawl space yesterday, so didn't have to worry about the rain too much then. But let's see, Aaron. I've got an article here on the Dragon Comet. Now, I wasn't real familiar with this. Actually, my aunt, of all people, called me and asked me, had I heard of it? And I said I had heard of it, but that was about it. But it is named Brooks. The comet is also called the Devil's Comet. And let's read a little bit. Well, why don't you go ahead and tell me, because I've got kind of a long thread that we're going to look through. So tell me a little bit to start off with.
Well, just, biblically in Revelations, let's see, got some notes here. I know in Revelations 13, let's see, chapter 13, verses 1 through 10, it's basically talking about the first beast rises out of the sea and is given authority and power by the dragon. The Antichrist is referred to as a dragon many times. And in Isaiah, it was talking about how, the dragon will come, winding like a serpent. And if you think about it, when a comet comes in, it's going to be like, it's going to have a trail behind it. That's what they do. It's like a shooting star. You see the shooting stars come in. It looks like a dragon kind of. in the sky. And but yeah, it could represent a lot of things. It could be um, maybe the Antichrist will reveal himself, or be born, or conceived, or something to that nature.
A
Or
lot of
maybe the
people feel like
Antichrist
he's
is
already
already
here.
here.
Yeah, a lot of people feel
Yeah.
like that somebody like William meets the bill of the Antichrist, and I do know there's a lot of weird stuff about him. Like, for one, it is documented that they actually moved his birth. They moved his cesarean section so he'd be born on the spring equinox, which was pretty interesting. I feel like that had to have some sort of occult significance, but there's a whole lot of stuff. People have done lots of deep dives into whether or not William does meet the criteria of the Antichrist, but I suggest you seek out some stuff like that if you're interested in it. But this guy, I did want to show you the Mother of Dragons comet visible in the night sky. This is from European Space Agency. Comet 12P Pons Brooks is visible in the night sky for observers in the northern hemisphere. So we're going to be seeing that. It's only every 71 years. They call it a Halley type or Halley type comet. With an orbital period of 71 years, so it's only ever so often. And
some people think it's going to be like a rapture too. I've read a lot of things about it, different opinions from different people about it biblically, and a lot of people think it's going to be could be a rapture also, because it depends on whether you believe in pre-trib or post-trib rapture, which a lot of things lean towards that the rapture will happen before the Antichrist, before all the torturing begins. But personally, I think that I think we're going to live through. We're going to see some wild stuff, but there's lots of things that have to happen, and it's all in Revelations.
well,
I've got some notes about the Bible and the dragon and stuff, and but yeah, the dragon is the Antichrist. Pretty much in the Bible is referred to, and there's a lot of scripture on it. It's pretty wild. A lot of different people believe a lot of different things about it. Different cultures believe different things about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, just depending on where you're at. Just don't drink no Kool-Aid that day. You know what I mean? Like, there's no spaceship gonna grab us and haul us off or nothing. If I get raptured, you just disappear. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I do think that there's a good chance during this eclipse, also that they're gonna do something ignorant.
Yeah.
So while everybody's looking up, because they keep hopping it up, and if you notice something with the MSM, whatever they hop up, it's going to happen. They tell you what they're going to do before they do it. You know what I'm saying? They literally told us about the thing we don't speak of. You know what I'm saying? The CV-19 thing. And all that.
Well, we can speak about it now that it's too late. They won't strike us for that kind of stuff.
They're like looking at their watches, like, and let them talk about it because I'm not going to say why. I'm not going to be mean. But yeah.
Well, there's a picture on screen here. This is the I had an AI do a rendering of a dragon comet swallowing the sun. I thought that was pretty cool. It's pretty wild, the technology out there, and they did a good job. It does look like a comet. It's got the tail and everything. It's looping around. You got the frozen gases, melting and coming off of it, and it's eating the sun. Pretty wild there.
Yeah.
So that comet, Pons Brooks 12B, the Dragon Comet, or the Mother of Dragons Comets. It's returns every so often. Let's see what we've got from. Oh, that's not the right one. Here we go. Our friend over at Hidden Amkura. So he goes into. This is a really long thread. This is part 2 of his thread where he talks about the Devil's Comet and the prophecy of the Red Heifer. So we're not going to read all this because it's super long, but I'm going to show you the kind of stuff that we're dealing with from Amurakel hidden status. So he talks about these shadow planets that are the north and south modes of the moon, also called the head and tail of the dragon, according to the Vedic astrology or the Hindu astrology. And according to the Vedas, these two brothers are responsible for all eclipses, and Rahu was known to eat the moon, which then gave birth to the new moon in their mythology. On the zodiac, the sun goes 180 degrees, starting at the north node, Ketu, where it ended at Rahu. These nodes have the Omega symbol. In Vedic lore, Vishnu cut Rahu's head off, but Rahu's immortal head survived, causing solar eclipses to this day. So remember, we talked about several different myths on Sunday about what caused eclipses, and a common one was the dragon eating the sun or a snake eating the sun. In the Hebrew alphabet, the foundational and first letter Aleph is silent or allegorically headless, and the sun ends where it begins. Rahu and Ketu could be seen as the Alpha and Omega, like Christ. So here's the shape of a couple of the eclipses making that the path of the eclipse makes across the country. This is the 2024
Projection
eclipse right here.
of where it's going to cross over.
And this was like a lunar eclipse that just happened. It should be noted that the solar eclipse is known as a corona sun, and mentioned earlier, Donald Trump was born under a double solar eclipse, a blood moon. It is believed that Christ was crucified and resurrected on a total solar eclipse when the sun and moon were joined, and also a blood moon. Acts 10:40 states Jesus rose from the dead on the third day after his death. God raised him from the dead on the third day. The story of Jonas also mentions a 3-day period. And he goes on to show in Matthew how there's another mention of how the Son of Man shall be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. So I guess they're talking about that's when Jesus would go to hell after he had been crucified to pay for the sins of man. Jonah spent 3 days in the belly of the whale. Why is this eclipse? Why is this important? The eclipse's path of totality is set to cross over 7 cities named Nineveh across the United States. Sounds like my co-host Orville Ridenborker is wanting to come in. We have also discussed how number 7 ties into Donald Trump and the 70-week prophecy. The Assyrians interpreted eclipses as impending omens of impending doom, and it is believed that the Berg Segel eclipse occurred over the Assyrian capital city of Nineveh. So let's keep going a little bit. This is when the city of Nineveh urged the people to repent to avoid the city's destruction, and Jonah told the people to repent for 40 days, and that's another really biblical name. I'm going to grab my puppy and my co-host and let him come in here so he stops yapping at the door.
All right, sounds good. But yeah, people hop up like Y2K. People are flipping out about Y2K. They hop up everything. Some people, but you never know when something actually does happen. It's hard to tell, but you should look into everything. You know what I'm saying? Like it's worth looking into everything and seeing what the deal is, for yourself instead of just letting the MSM tell you or somebody else,
Well, Hidden Amaraka's
research,
laying the groundwork here. He's showing that the 7 is important. He's showing the 40 days and nights of rain during the flood. The Israelis wandered for 40 years in the desert. Jesus spent 40 days of fasting and temptation in the wilderness by the devil, the father of lies. And according to astrologers, during the upcoming solar eclipse, the return of Comet 12P Pons Brooks, or the Devil Comet. It has a horn-like appearance, and that's where they get the name. And they've reckoned that it'll be visible during the eclipse due to the darkness of the totality. So the comet, known for both its distorted shape and recent explosive outbursts, orbits the sun every 71.2 years, according to Astronomy Magazine, comparable to Halley's Comet. The Devil's Comet? Sounds like a biblical sign in the heavens, said Hidden Amaraka.
Maybe the Antichrist will reveal himself during the eclipse.
Well,
like in proclaim, or they'll do some kind of, the government will do something crazy, or they keep hopping up aliens. And if the rapture does happen and everybody's looking up, and it did happen right then, but let me be clear when I do say that the Bible clearly states that no man, it actually says that anyone that tells you they know when the world's going to end is a straight up liar. So don't believe a lot of the hoopla and don't live in fear. That's my thing with it. But question everything. I'm saying? Be prepared. Hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. That's my view on things, and I do that. Well, that's why this is a good thing to do. Get together in the community and talk about stuff and make an opinion for yourself, because nobody trusts the media anymore. You know what I mean? Like, unless you're just disconnected, which a lot of people are, and that's the problem. That's how we got in the place we are, because everybody was sitting not paying attention, and now they've moved into the focuses on geopolitics. It's elsewhere. They've got all the attention instead of what's going on here. So of course, it's all about money. That's another rabbit hole.
Well,
we'll keep her going.
As you can see, Amaraka Hidden has a long way to go on this thread. They're showing lots of different symbolic stuff. They're tying in So we're going to follow this thread. We're going to keep up with it and see what they say. But this is from yesterday, and he's run out of room on it, and he's tying it into the sacrifice of the red heifer and the rise of the Antichrist, which is something we talked about a little bit on, well, actually, we talked a lot about that on Sunday. So if you missed that Sunday, check that out, and definitely follow Hidden Amaraka on X, and you can check this thread out for yourself. But we're not going to have time to read all of it, but we'll go into basically the so far he's talking about how the letters of Alpha and Omega are spelled out by the eclipses in the path across North America, and some people are saying that this is related to and indicative of prophecy coming to pass.
Like I have a lot, like I have faith and I believe everything that the Bible says, personally, but some people kind of take it to like the toast with Jesus's face on it, people and they like make a big deal about like, I see Jesus's face in the toast, and it almost becomes sacrilegious to a certain point. And sometimes it is like an onion type of deal, but some people don't mean anything by it, like the bleeding statues and things like that have happened. But I'm not a Catholic anyways. But have you ever seen? This is off topic, but have you seen the photograph of the inside the Vatican behind the Pope's big seat?
The snake.
It's like this big. It's supposed to be Jesus, but he's like turning into something. It's half his head is like morphing into stuff. It's like crazy. It's super demonic. It's just like the tree of life behind it, but it's all withered and demonic. And I really think the Vatican is evil as hell. You want to know the truth of the matter. And the Pope has become corrupt, and the world has kind of become just totally.
Are you talking about the chair of St. Peter?
Yes. Yeah, I couldn't. Yes, the chair of St. Peter. You're right. That's exactly what I was talking about. Yeah, it's pretty wild. If you've never seen a picture of it, it's like, what? And this is where the Pope sits, what I mean? It's like, how is that? Like, what? That doesn't give off good vibes. I don't know about you, man, but if I went in there and I saw that thing, I'd be like,
Is this what you're talking about? Let's see. I don't know if you can even see it. I guess you'll have to watch on the show on the monitor there. But it's got like
I see it now.
sun.
No, that's not the one I was talking about. This one is, but that's probably evil too, I'm sure. That looks super, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, is that the Vatican though?
Yeah, that's just the throne of St. Peter. So I don't
No,
know
this one's like, if I'm not mistaken, this may have even, it looked like that. There's a scene in The Devil's Advocate where the marble wall behind him starts coming alive and stuff, and it's just like super evil. That's what this looks like. I can't remember the name of it. It's like, you can just look up like, I want to say, I can't remember. It's like Pope's Temple art or something. I don't know. But yeah, you can look it up. It's like, it looks kind of looks like the Tree of Life, but it's not hard to find out there. But it's like a super evil looking.
Well,
and it's kind of. Oh no, go ahead, man.
Oh no, I was just going to say to sum it all up, we've got lots of the things that are called for in different biblical prophecy are coming to pass, centering on the rebuilding of the ancient Hebrew temple there on the first they have to remove the Dome of the Rock, but they also have to sacrifice some red heifers, and they are beginning the process of selecting red heifers. They do have to be unblemished, meaning they can't have a single imperfection on them. They can't have a single white hair. They have to be purely red, and it has to be sacrificed by a Levite priest who's, they are overlooking the Temple Mount, and they have to sacrifice it at just the right time and all this stuff.
They better leave this red heifer alone.
Well, that's supposed to be when the Jews believe that that's when their Messiah will come, is after all this is completed, and the Christians tend to believe that this Messiah of the Jews will actually be the Antichrist. Yeah,
it's going to be a lot of weird stuff. I think the Muslims and the Jews will worship the Antichrist.
And when
I think all the Christians will be like, no.
When the sixth seal was opened up, that was also in the book of Revelation, that's when it was mentioned that there was an eclipse and the moon turned red as blood and the sky as black as sackcloth. So all these things kind of line
Blood red
up
moon.
all with the eclipse there on
And
April
the
8th.
angels or the demons that were cast, they're trapped under the Euphrates River. I don't know if you heard about that one too, but I've seen a lot of stuff about that.
No, I'm not real familiar with that one.
That may have been Enoch. I can't remember. I feel bad. I'm trying to remember my scripture, but it may have been Enoch, which is not actually in the King James Bible. It was removed. But if I'm not mistaken, which don't, like I said, I'm not 100% on that. So, but I do know for a fact that somewhere it says that that's part of the Revelations. You know, they're going to come out, the seven-headed beasts, and it's going to be freaky.
Hi, Kim. So I hope you got there just in time for our Prophecy Club meeting there. Do y'all remember that show, The Prophecy Club? Sometimes they had some like really good like New World Order, anti-New World Order preachers and people exposing that kind of stuff on there back in the day.
I would definitely classify myself in that category. You know. Like,
well,
personally.
we got. I just wanted to kind of catch up a little bit on that because we didn't finish the Dragon's Comet. So it's Brooks Pond's 12. And it's on a 71-year arc, so, you know, not a real common occurrence, and, you know, comes right with the eclipse, right with the launching of the rockets, right with the preparation of the red heifers, all this good stuff, all the numbers that, what's his name showed there, Armageddon, just showed us that the way all these numbers line up. So, you know, I don't necessarily buy into all this stuff, but I think it's interesting to watch it and, you know, see what people think. Like Aaron said, I don't think anybody can really know.
The technology's kind of there for me for the CBDC and just the whole system of that, and going away from cash. Because here's the deal: if you're using all digital money, guess what? They're going to get a cut. Finally, they're going to get a cut of everything. If you're paying in cash at the flea market or market or somewhere on the street, they're not getting a cut of that. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
When they bring in CBDC, then they get their cut.
That's
Everything you do, they can just mail you tickets. Clown world for sure.
Well, let's get into some. Actually, before we get into Tennessee news, I want to show you this one because I mentioned it on the show before, and I couldn't find the video. So remember, I was telling you about how Peter Nygaard was He was basically the Canadian Epstein. He was in the Canadian fashion world, and this guy, I was talking about how he was finding women or trying to buy eggs from black women because he wanted to basically create using their genetic material and his, create a, we'll just say, I don't want to say exactly, well, he created a miniature version of himself that he would use to extract nutrients from before it reached viability, basically.
Dude, having a mini-me is sweet, man. So I got a mini-me.
Well, he's creating a gosh, the dog hair is getting all over me. He's creating a clone of himself for him to basically. You ever see that episode of South Park where Christopher Reeve is getting his stem cells and he's like just grabbing the babies
them out of a fetus? Yeah.
That's what I kind of imagine here. But I told you about it on the show and I wasn't able to find the video, but I did find it, so I'm gonna show that to y'all.
They do that
before we get into Tennessee news.
They inject the stem cells, and stuff. So
let's watch real quick.
Peter and I are investing in what's called SCNT, which takes the egg of a young, perfect woman specimen, takes the egg and takes out the nucleus and puts our DNA in the nucleus. They just go ahead and take it out.
A4?
Huh?
The A4 uses
And this is part of this genetic greatness that we don't see in any other race on the planet. These curvy, sexy black women from Africa. You girls have a kind of a...
Epstein was doing that too, man. Cloning
himself. We want some of that.
They do look like Bruce Gingers.
So, girls, for $100, we will pay you for your egg.
$100? Monkey.
Who is this, Rusty?
How much do you want for it? Let's bid. I bid $500.
I think this one girl knows what's up.
I bought about $60,000 of eggs. Yeah. If you have a portion, that's very valuable.
Yeah, old Epstein was killing himself, supposedly.
Placenta.
I'm sure lots of rich people do it.
Your period blood is so
But like,
rich with
I'll
stem
just
cells.
create a, keep them in the basement. When I need organs, when I'm old.
It should be captured as recycled. And it shouldn't go to waste. It's life for somebody, you know? And it's life for mankind. They're the best eggs are 60
Mystery science figures on here.
Those are the best eggs.
Look at that.
You can see they're starting to understand.
They're done this guy.
So you may not be
Shady. She's thinking in her head, she's like, all right, stomp his toes and you open the eyes.
Cloning yourself with the idea of making yourself immortal, I think, is science fiction, and I think it's unethical.
They've already tested this practice in mice, and Ross was fat, and Ross got six-pack when he was jumping all over me.
Mama Friere.
Young, right? First it's just everybody safe, and after that, the young.
It's all don't get time to look at the abortion one I did. It'll show how melanin is worth more than gold. Meaning you being black will worth more than gold.
So Peter Nygaard there was he was explaining to those women how he would pay them lots of money for. He started off trying to offer them $100, right, or the other guy did, and then Nygaard's like, "I'll give you $60,000," and was talking about for them, collecting their menses, and so that he can use their genetic material because he was claiming basically that it fills in the gap in his genetic material, so he can make a super version of himself in order to extract life force from. So you want to talk about creepy. Now that guy luckily is in jail for a sex trafficking ring. He did get caught. Remember, there was Nygaard. We had Jean-Luc Brunel, the French modeling tycoon who he also Epstein himself kind of quietly. So lots of crazy stuff going on out there. But that is the clip I was talking about where he explains exactly what he wants to do and why. And supposedly that was a hidden camera, but it seemed like at least part of that was captured as part of a documentary. So don't know for sure, but either way, that was him on video saying it. Now let's look. Let's get into some Tennessee news. Little hard segue, right? It's a little unconnected, but looks like we lost air in there, but he's back.
I can hear you, but I can't see you yet. I'm trying to call in on Skype. It's like calling. I don't know what's going on.
I've got your audio, so hopefully your sound or your video will come back up here in just a minute. Let's see if we can hear your audio on the show. Give me a hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
There we go. Okay, so you're coming in loud and clear. I just don't have any video from you, so well, now we dropped you. Let's call him back again. Technical difficulties, folks. Sorry to keep you waiting, folks. Complicated business. But we do have, I thought this one was kind of crazy, so. Alright, well, we'll look to hear back from Aaron here in just a minute. I thought this one was kind of crazy, so I thought I'd bring it up on the show real quick. Let me fix the screen here, and, let's, so we don't have Aaron there. When we get him back, we'll go back over to him. There we go. So, to show you this story here. And I mostly just want to look at the wording of it because I think this is kind of hilarious, to be honest. We got, not that what happened, but we've got Russell County authorities warn of public shooting incidents in Castlewood area. And then I want to read you the first line of this, right? And this was the line that they shared it on X with. The Russell County Sheriff's Office is warning about the public about 2 incidents where a car got shot into by a firearm. Did you hear, Matt? That's right. Just look there where I highlighted it. A car got shot into by a firearm. That's what you used your journalism degree to learn how to write a tagline or a lead there. a car got shot into by a firearm. That's kind of like in the Waukesha Christmas parade where the car ran over all those people. You remember that? Daryl Brooks plowed through all those people, and all the papers and online news sources were saying that an SUV was the one who had run over everybody. Never mind that Daryl Brooks, the man driving it, was an insane person, but they didn't want to say that. And so here we go, shot through by a firearm. So apparently there was a small four-door car driving around shooting into people's cars. And then they say, well, anyone traveling in this area should be cautious because they didn't catch the guy. So there you go. I would be cautious. Hopefully we'll get back from Aaron here in just a minute, but it's about time to wipe the... What's up there, Jeff? Jeff can hear, hell yeah, but we can't hear Aaron. He's gone. I don't know where he went. But he's dropped out completely. Maybe bad internet connection or something. But I did have two more stories from Tennessee I wanted to share with y'all. This one is from WCYB. So a Rogersville teacher was named the 2024 Teacher of the Year. And there she is, Missy Testerman, the National Teacher of the Year. Here's her photo from the Tennessee Department of Education. So I was curious, that's pretty interesting. So out of the whole United States, that somebody from Rogersville, really close to here, was the winner of that award. So I was a little curious, and I kind of found exactly what I expected to, because you remember how a lot of these teachers usually operate, and you think about a lot of the things that they're pushing in the schools nationwide, and to basically keep it simple, we'll say that there is a lot of what people are calling woke stuff coming through the teachers unions, and we've seen evidence of it with a lot of the books that they're putting in the libraries and things like this. So I was curious if something like that would be mentioned in the article. So I go down a little bit, and right off the bat I see that she is an English as a second language instructor, right? So I was like, okay, well, that's probably the reason that they selected her for that. English as a second language teacher. So with the border crisis that we have and the number of non-American or non-English speakers coming into the country, all these people who are in here for asylum claims, it is now. I don't want to disparage this lady, because it is the law that whoever comes to school that they have to teach it. It's federal law. It's state law that to get funding, a school has to teach anybody, including people who are from another country who don't speak the language. But to me, that little Rogersville have a big enough program to need an English as a second language teacher, and that this lady, Missy Testerman, was the National Teacher of the Year. I feel like that's definitely related, but just the idea that we have there's enough non-English speaking people in this local area that you have to have a whole department and a program director and a teacher for non-English speaking as a first language, English as a second language. That tells you that it just backs up everything we've been saying, that the system really is overwhelmed. And we mentioned. I've seen like Jen Psaki, the former White House press secretary, and Rachel Maddow were on MSNBC, and they were talking about how they were making fun of Tennessee in particular for complaining about the border crisis, and they're like, oh yeah, when's the last time you were like, Tennessee doesn't have a border with Mexico, but we've seen reports from from Homeland Security that they're flying all kinds of illegal immigrants in here, and of course they call them asylum seekers, but they enter the country illegally, and then they say they're claiming asylum, and then they get a court date. And so for 4 years they're an asylum seeker and not an illegal immigrant or a criminal alien, as they should be classified. So they have to teach all these kids. And the other day I was behind a school bus, and went to the parking lot over there on the Motor Mile on Johnson City, and they pulled over on the highway. And I'm telling you, the whole bus was Hispanic kids, and don't have anything wrong with Hispanic kids, but this was a whole park of probably non-English speaking kids who were, again, they're going to need a lot of resources, and the states are becoming overwhelmed. And there you go. She gets Missy gets the Teacher of the Year for it. So, what you think about that? Let me know in the chat. Am I just being a bigot by saying that we don't have the resources to support an influx of a lot of other children and a lot of other citizens, or non-citizens, into our public trusts and our public infrastructure? I mean, we've got bridges falling down all over the place. We got a bridge falling down in. We got 2 bridges out in Carter County that who knows how long they're going to be out. I'm trying to call Aaron back, and I'm going to get through here. But yeah, we got a bridge out here right off the Iron Mountain. We got a bridge on Gap Creek. We can't even get those fixed, but we can sure make sure there's plenty of teachers to get all the illegal immigrant children in school. But I'm sure somebody will tell me I'm awful for saying that. But what do you think? Tell me in the chat. I got a hell yeah from Jeff, but I don't think it's about that. So last story of the night. This was the big one here. This is a big one for all us conspiracy theorists, right? There start lots of saying, "Oh, this legislation cannot be taken seriously," but we've been following this one, and it actually passed. Can you believe it? It passed the State House. Tennessee passes. This is from the BBC, so we were using we were looking at Tennessee stands and the Tennessee Conservative, but this is nonpartisan. You could say, I mean, they purport to be nonpartisan. I'm going to say that they're pretty center left, but BBC. Tennessee passes chemtrail bill banning airborne chemicals, right? So this is pretty huge. Did you ever think you'd see the day? It's waiting on the governor to sign it. It passed the Senate and the State House, and it forbids intentional injection, release, or dispersion of chemicals into the air. Now, it doesn't explicitly mention chemtrails. It says which conspiracy theorists believe are poisons spread by plane. I mean, some people may say poisons, but I think it's more than that. I think it's we've seen evidence that it's aluminum and barium salts and other maybe conductive materials of sorts. But anyway, there's been lots of talk of how they're going to block the sun out. They're going to reflect more sunlight back. They're going to thicken up the atmosphere. They're going to cloud seed with all these stratospheric aerosol injections, as they call them, so they don't have to admit that they are doing chemtrails. They call them stratospheric or atmospheric aerosol injections. But that's exactly what it is a spraying out of one chemical or another into the atmosphere or stratosphere. So we got this story. It broadly prohibits affecting temperature, weather, or intensity of the sunlight. Which is the part that I don't like about it, but it is a step in the right directions. I think you shouldn't be able to dump chemicals on Tennessee for any reason, whether it is for, affecting the sun, affecting the temperature, affecting the weather, whatever. I've said before, and I'll say again, I think it's really the intention of, you can call it the powers that be or whatever, but the technological powers that are basically moving the world forward, that are building the world that we're going to live in, pretty much want us to be part of a biological computer. Now, we might have components of them that we carry around. We may even have components of them that are implanted in us or part of us, but basically the whole world will be a quantum supercomputer with all the different, you're going to have wired connections like we do now. You're going to have huge fiber optic cables running everywhere, but we're also going to have satellite connections. We're going to have Wi-Fi. We're going to have 5G, all these different nodes of connectivity, and they're all going to be running through us, whether it be through cell phones or implantable devices. I also think that they may be creating some sort of wetware for us, out of us, and making us biological parts of the computer. Now, is that crazy talk? Maybe, but that's the kind of stuff they're talking about. I didn't come up with this idea on my own. I mean, I'm not that creative. But it will be going to affect, the chemtrail bill will go into effect July 1st if it's signed by Bill Lee. I don't know if they have enough to override the veto here, but I mean, there is, if Tennessee, they have overridden a couple vetoes. So, or they, he didn't actually veto it. It's just Bill Lee knew that it would be overridden if he did veto it. So he just let the bill run out on his desk. And, what do they call that when you, not a pocket veto, but apparently if they leave the bill on the governor's desk for so long, he doesn't have to sign it, but it still becomes law if they have enough majority. So that's been the case on a few. I don't know if it is on this particular one, but they had several witnesses testify before the Tennessee legislature to try to debunk the report. And I think we got Aaron back. Let's see if this is if he's coming in here right. Here we go. He's the wrong size, but he's on the screen at least. So yeah, the Tennessee, Aaron, I was just telling him about the Tennessee chemtrail bill actually made it out of the State House. They started in the Senate, made it out of the State House. And what's up, Pumpkin Spice? Made it out of the State House, and the governor signed it. A few years too late on that bill. Yeah, I think you're right, Kim. I mean, you can look out, and everybody will tell you it's water vapor, but you know there's a difference between water vapor and a fibrous cloud that spreads out over hundreds of miles and does not dissipate throughout the day. Smells. Yeah, that's not water vapor.
What's different? You know, yeah, like you said, I mean, everyone, airplanes. I've been on airplanes. They leave behind the. They will leave behind.
They leave a contrail. A contrail's a real thing. We're not saying that contrails are chemtrails. We're saying
they actually people who do mix it in and spray it.
Yeah, so if you think there's no such thing as chemtrails, look up stratospheric aerosol injection or atmospheric aerosol injection. It is a real concept that is really being implemented. But you know, I don't know that Tennessee banning it does a lot of good, because you don't have to release it over Tennessee necessarily. You release it at thousands of miles in
the wind will carry it. Yeah,
you know, not thousands. Yeah. It's like, but you know, dozens of miles into the air, 40,000 feet over Virginia or Kentucky, or whatever. It's going to drift. Jet stream will carry it right along there. But they only prohibit it in regard to geoengineering.
They want to. It's like they're doing stuff to the soil too. You know, they want this nanotechnology everywhere. They're like obsessed with it. You know.
Well, that's something that a lot of people have said, and I've not seen anything to back that up. But but there is the rumor that the nanoparticles are being released, and now I wouldn't have any way to. You know, it'd probably be really hard to check on that, because how do you even run a test for nanobots? What kind of technology do you even have to tell if those things are out there? They're real, but are they on a scale where you can just dump them all over the place?
A metal detector. Dude, they've got them that'll fly like a hive of bees.
Yep. Yeah, it's scary. They really have had like nanobot swarm technology for probably about 10 years. What they were trying to achieve now are self-replicating nanobots, which is really terrifying. Especially if you ever read there was a book
called, sounds like a cell. You know, that's what a cell does. You
know? There was a book by Michael Crichton called what was it called? Prey. And if you've read any of his stuff, like, you know, Jurassic Park's a good example. They take, you know, kind of existing technology that was, you know,
messing with stuff they shouldn't be messing with.
Yeah, and they take that technology, and Crichton basically takes it to its logical conclusion of, okay, this is what exists right now. This is what people are doing with it. And anyway, he you know made the story in Prey, where basically it was a nanobot swarm with artificial general intelligence controlling it, so it would basically become this unstoppable, you know, never-ending, never-growing, or it always growing hive or swarm of insects, basically, that were ultra small, could, you know, and then, of course, this is, you know, taking it out to its logical conclusion. I don't think there's any evidence that we have the ability to do this right now, although they are working on it. But this thing, basically forming any shape you can imagine, like the Terminator, the T-1000. He was liquid. What was he? Liquid nano metal or something like that.
Well, you can't run behind a door, because if there's, I guess you could, but if there's a crack big enough under the door, they're just gonna all fly under it. Yeah,
it'd be like a horror movie, man.
Like Freddy Krueger. Yeah, you're right. Like Freddy Krueger, man.
Yeah, they
get up in there, fly up in your nostrils, like get in your brain and just kill you.
Yeah, or take you over, make you into a
like the Thing, man, like the Thing.
Drive you around and replicate. Yeah, exactly like the Thing, actually. Yeah,
a vessel. You'll become a vessel for some interstellar parasite, demonic parasite. You know, like interdimensional parasite, like.
And that's why we shouldn't have chemtrails, folks.
Yeah. But no, it's just, for me, it stinks. Like, it smells like really stinky, you know?
Well, just like you don't want to be driving around in like diesel smog or anything like that, whatever it is.
My question is what and why? That's really what I want to know. What else and why? You know, why? Are they trying to block out the sun? Is that what they say? Are they contaminating the soil? I think they're doing it to the soil too. They were trying to do stuff to the soil.
Well, their
And,
word is we only have like what 40 more plants or 60 more
we've got to
plants.
cut all the trees down and bury them. Remember they were saying that, like, don't get rid of all the trees. You know, carbon's bad. It's like carbon is not bad. The Earth has to have carbon to have an ecosystem. And if we could get carbon to Mars, Mars would turn into an Earth. Mars is just missing the carbon. If we can get carbon on Mars, watched a lot of stuff on this with Elon Musk talking about it and stuff. But yeah, you know, because he's all obsessed with Mars. And that's really the only thing Mars needs, you know, and it would even then it would take a long time for it to become habitable. You know, you'd have to live in a bubble with oxygen and artificial stuff. You know, we would basically be fish in an aquarium.
Here's from November 2023 from the Chemical Sciences Laboratory from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA.gov. For stratospheric aerosol injection, all strategies are not created equal. A new strategy finds that injecting SO2 at higher latitudes rather than the tropics could mitigate some undesirable side effects of SAI, stratospheric aerosol injection, but the options come with trade-offs. So here they're talking about climate intervention known as strategic aerosol injection to mimic the planet cooling effects of volcanic eruptions by injecting sulfur dioxide directly into the atmosphere where it forms sunlight reflecting sulfate aerosols. And although the goal of SAI is straightforward to reflect sunlight, when it comes to considering how much intervention could or would be implemented, a complex patchwork of side effects and trade-offs emerges. They're studying all the different places there that they're dumping this stuff out and seeing how far it spreads, seeing what it does, how does it affect the ozone layer, how does it affect, you know, circulation, weather, precipitation, seasonally, long terms, you know, so you can go check that out. But, you know, it's right here. They're just calling it something other than chemtrails, right? Let's look at atmospheric aerosol injection. It just pulls up stratospheric again. But you can go right here, all the way down, you know. Here's all the way back in 2010. Unintended consequences. This is OSTAI.gov, Department of Energy, Office of Scientific and Technical Information. Unintended consequences of atmospheric injection of sulfate aerosols, all the way back in 2010. They're showing all these risks that we've run into by putting this stuff.
These are the
air.
real questions. This is the answers. These are answers to the real questions about it. Like, okay, well now what agency and what product are they spraying? See what I'm saying? Like,
this is all about sulfur
know.
dioxide, but there's other things too. But that's the most common one.
Like, is yeah.
I lost your audio there, Aaron.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, there you go. Familiar with Jim Lee? Oh yeah, dude. Jim Lee. What's it? Weather. What's his site? Weather. Shoot. Yes, I love Jim Lee. Pumpkin Spice. Weather Tracker, Climate Tracker. That's what it is. ClimateTracker.com and ClimateTracker.org or Climate Viewer. That's it. ClimateViewer.org. Yeah, definitely go check out Jim Lee. You want to learn all about stratospheric aerosol injection? Go check out Jim Lee, and he also knows a lot about cyberspace and cybersecurity, all kinds of good stuff. ClimateTracker.com. He's got a whole slew of websites, but if you'll go there to, or ClimateViewer.com, go and check him out. Definitely a good resource there. All right, well, it's almost 11 o'clock, so I've got an early morning tomorrow and a long day, so I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. But I'm so glad that y'all joined us. If you haven't followed us on X, go over there to the Iron Mountain Hour. It's at Iron Mountain HR. If you go to YouTube, we're at IMH Live. You can email us at the Iron Mountain Hour at gmail.com and get us. Follow us on Rumble too if you get a chance. Be sure and email us, comment on the videos. Let us know if any of these stories hit you anyway and you want to discuss them further. We'd definitely love to have you in the chat. We're so glad to have you tonight, Pumpkin Spice. You've been on a hiatus, but we're so glad to have you and love to have you come back in on Sundays and Thursdays at 10 p.m. For me and Aaron Armageddon, I'm signing off. Aaron, you got anything else to say before we leave?
Actually, yeah, real quick. Let's see. In 2 days, is that when the eclipse is supposed to be? The 6th? Is that the date? The 8th. Okay. Yeah, we won't have another episode before then, so just stay vigilant. You know, if you're going to be out in public, a large event, or watching this, just just pay attention to what's going on around you. But what it's going to be like 3 a.m. when it happens or something here?
No, it's afternoon.
Oh, is it? I thought it was going to be like in the a.m. Okay, well then, yeah. Just be vigilant. Just make sure you know where your exits are, and if you've got your youngins with you, you keep them close and pay attention to what's going on around you, because everybody's going to be looking up.
And if you're in the area of totality, be sure you got plenty of bottled water and stuff like that, because it might be hard to get some. But around here, we're supposed to see, I think, 80% to 90% coverage, so it'd still be really good. So get your Eclipse glasses or make you a little box and go out there and check it out. But
make sure
thank
you got
for
your
joining
flashlights ready and candles and just stuff ready, in case the power goes out or whatever.
Well, barring the
For whatever
apocalypse,
reason.
we will see you on Sunday, or even if there is an apocalypse and we still have internet, we'll
the
see you
National
Sunday.
Guard's deployed. They deployed the National Guard in certain areas, and it's just getting hopped up. I wouldn't have made that big of a deal about it if the MSN wasn't hopping it up so much. You see what I'm saying? It's like something's weird. Regardless, like I said, hope for the best and prepare for the worst, and be ready.
Pumpkin Pie says don't buy plants on the 8th. I wonder why that is. I'm looking up don't buy plants during eclipse. Let's see. Plants during eclipse. Look at the Blissful Gardener. What do they say? How do plants respond to a solar eclipse? So it has a change in temperature as well as lights, and the plants during a solar eclipse will take less water over the course of the day.
They'll bud and stuff.
Yeah, they'll get confused. Okay, cool. So
you can change plants around and stuff, and I know, like especially with cannabis and hemp, industrial hemp and stuff, that if you stuff like that will ruin your crop.
Little Shop of Horrors, that's right. Oh, that's what she's talking about. Yeah, we talked about the other day. I forget the plant's name, but that plant in Little Shop of Horrors was born during the eclipse. That's right. Yeah, we talked about that on Sunday. Okay, she got us. But it does say that the plants will get confused on the.
Well, the plant will change. It'll change its gender. Like it'll go from a female to a male.
Gay plants! They're turning the freaking plants gray with the eclipse, folks. I'm telling you, you got to listen to me. All right, everybody have a good night. We'll see you Sunday night. Thanks, Aaron.
See you guys.